بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. So let's get started. I hope that my voice is clear for everyone. Just if you can double confirm on the chat that you are hearing me well, so I can get started. Okay, ممتاز. Okay, so thank you. I'm very excited and very glad to present you today an important topic about fine-tuning large language models. And the objective of this talk is to show you how you can leverage the use of a new package that I have recently developed based on an experience on fine-tuning large language models, and with the main objective to make it very affordable and very easy to everyone to get started with this new technology. I'm going to explain you what is fine-tuning, what is large language model for maybe audience that are maybe new to this technology, and later on we are going to go into real demonstrations to show how we can fine-tune a large language model in a very easy and straightforward manner by leveraging the ScaleXI Python package developed for this purpose. Okay, so first of all, let me start by giving an overview about generative AI, which is currently the main trend in artificial intelligence in general, and especially with the release of large language models, and in particular ChatGPT since 1 year ago in November 2022. And it has made a revolution in the artificial intelligence technologies. It started by text-to-text generation, and now we have even more advanced generative AI machines that are able to have multimodal capabilities. In an abstract manner, generative AI enables machines to create content by mimicking the human-like creativity and generate different type of outputs, like can generate text, can generate images, can generate sounds, can generate videos. So now we talk about multimodal large language models. So, and the main idea is actually to provide certain type of prompts, which is usually a text, or it can be a question, or it can be just any kind of input. And the generative AI engine will be able to do a completion with a reasonable manner. And this actually can help human to just imaginate any kind of task, and the machine will help to accomplish the task that it would like to do. So the completion can be in different forms, as already mentioned. It's multimodal. From a prompt, you can generate another text. You can generate an image. Now, for example, ChatGPT is able not only to generate text, but also generate images. And it can generate also other type of data, like voice, and so on. So the basic large language models, basically that we know, like ChatGPT, they take a text and they generate a text with certain probability. And this is what we call a base large language model, نموذج لغوي الأساسي. And all what it does, it's just to take an initial context, like for example, the beginning of a sentence, every morning I go to, and we'll be able to propose some possible completions in a reasonable manner, as already said. It's not going to be completely random, but it will generate something that makes sense based on the context that is provided here as in the input. And this generation basically is probabilistic. I mean, if you generate, for example, 3 times from the same context, you could probably have different type of completions, because what it does actually, it will, for a particular context, it will try to generate the next word, or we can say it also the next token. And it's not going to take always the highest probability token or the word, but it will take something within a certain pool of possible words. Of course, there are several control parameters during the inference of large language model, but just for you to understand that it's going to pick one of the most likely words. For example, I can say I go to my class, or I go to the school. I can select the article the here, or I can select the article A, or I can say I go to work, and so on. So there are possible completions, and because this is pretty much a probabilistic model, and it can choose from a possible pool of words. So in a very abstract manner, we're going to start from a context in a base language model, And we will have a probabilistic text completion, as already mentioned. It can be any possible completion based on the initial context. So this looks pretty much simple, but of course building such a machine, it requires a huge amount of data and a huge amount of resources to be able to understand how to the contextual representation of the text and generate something that is very likely to make sense with respect to the context. Now, there are different types of language models. The type that I have already presented is called the Bayes language model, which is basically trained on a vast amount of data for just text generation. And this actually helps in producing coherent and contextually relevant text. So to build the Bayes large language model, you need a huge amount of data. We talk about trillions of words to be able to build that, and also thousands of GPUs resources. It's only big tech companies that are able to provide or to develop the pre-trained models. Now, when you have a pre-trained model, it's like someone who spent some time to learn a certain language. Okay? So usually we spend a long time to learn the language. You need to understand many words for the new language, read several books, and get a lot of information about the language itself. When you master the language, you will use this language to learn additional skills. Like, for example, someone goes for abroad studies. He will spend 1 or 2 years studying language. This is similar to pre-trained model or a Bayes large language model. And then it will go to the university to learn, for example, computer science or mathematics or any kind of reasoning by using the language it has learned before. And the second step, learning new skills, this is what we call fine-tuning. And this is the main topic of our talk today. So fine-tuning, it means we retrain the pre-trained model using additional data, but this data in this case is going to be much, much smaller than the large corpus that is used before to build the pre-trained models. And this will allow to add additional capabilities to the fine-tuned model. So in this case, the second case, we also call it instruction-based large language model, because it will be taught to execute instructions, for example, question answering, or it can be trained to summarize text, or also it can be trained to make text classification, or for example, to make sentiment analysis. So there are plenty of tasks that we can teach the pre-trained model to acquire new skills. And this is what I'm going to present you today. This is also, it's much simpler than doing the pre-trained model, but still it requires some kind of sophisticated knowledge in programming, which probably not everyone would have. And the objective of ScaleXI package is to reduce the complexity and make it affordable to a wider public. Can you mute your mic, please? Just not to have an echo. Okay, so how to do fine-tuning usually? Now imagine that you have a large language model that was pre-trained on a large corpus of data. So later on we are going to prepare another data set that will contain, for example, question and answers. If we want to train the language model to respond to questions, we're going to prepare, for example, 1,000 question and answer, so that the model will learn how to respond to questions. Or, for example, if I want to make text summarization, I'm going, for example, to provide a long text, and I will provide a short text as the answer, and the model will be also trained to do text summarization and so on. So usually the size of this fine-tuning data set would reach, for example, between, the minimum is around maybe 1,000, but the typical is between 10,000 and 100,000 data set entry. And this, of course, takes a long time to prepare a data set manually. So we're going to show how we can prepare a data set in a programmatic manner so that we can generate a lot of prompt and completion or question and answers by just leveraging a contextual information and generating automatically prompt and completions to fine-tune a large language model. So to fine-tune LLMs, there are several key challenges. First of all, building a data set. So one of the problems is the data set scale. When we want to fine-tune a model, as already mentioned, you need to prepare a data set between 10,000 to 100,000 data set entries or prompt and completions, and this is a very complex and also resource intensive. Another thing, of course, if you say, I'm going to do that manually, so you will need to have a lot of people. I actually went through all these processes when we want a pre-trained model for our university. And in the beginning, we started to do that manually, spent almost 1 month, and we were not able to exceed 8,000 question and answer, and everybody was exhausted about doing that anymore. So from this point in time, we decided to make something more automated, because it's not really practical to spend a long time preparing different type of question answering, and we're not going to have the big imagination to even diversify the type of questions or even categorize them. Another one also is dataset preparation. It is time consuming, and also it must be formatted according to the requirement of the large language model. For example, OpenAI, it has a certain format to fine-tune an LLM. Llama, for example, from Meta, it has a different model. So we have plenty of large language models. All of them, they can be fine-tuned, but they don't agree on a common standard about the dataset formatting to fine-tune them. So one of the objectives is actually to find an easy way to convert from one format to another according to the requirement of the large language model. Another challenge is to train the large language model. So there are technical barriers because it demands specialized knowledge in machine learning, in data processing, in Python programming, which probably not everyone would have at the sufficient deep level. Okay, and also cost efficiency is an important matter. When you're going to train, for example, on OpenAI, you're going to pay money for every word that will be trained on. So you need in advance to make sure what will be the cost of my trained model before you train it. Do you afford that budget? For example, $100 or $1,000 and so on. So it's important to have a way to estimate the cost of the fine-tuned model, the target fine-tuned model in advance. And another challenge, okay, now imagine that you've done everything, you created the data set, you find your model, and now we wanted to put it in production. But before that, are you sure that your model is fine? So you need to evaluate your model to check the accuracy, the correctness of the responses, whether it contains, for example, harmful responses. So you need to make sure about that. So model evaluation optimization, you need to do continuous model evaluation with respect to the new requirement, to the new query that are provided by the users of the language model. And also make sure about the quality assurance. So I've built the ScaleXI package to overcome all these challenges. And the first benefit of using the package is to have an automated dataset generation. So this will simplify the dataset creation. Even if you want to create 10,000 entries or even 100,000 entries, it's not going to take you the same time and effort as if you do it in different manner or you do it manually. You can just run a script, as I'm going to say, to show you, and it will run for a certain amount of time and will generate thousands and thousands of dataset entries in a very easy and intuitive manner. So we have also resource optimization. The tool provides some functions for cost estimation based on your fine-tuned dataset. It allows to count the number of tokens and estimate the cost based on which model you are going to use for fine-tuning your dataset. And also, we made sure to have a low-code interface. So basically, in 3-line or 4-line of codes, we'll be able to do most of the tasks. So they make the LLM development accessible with minimal coding and lowering also the technical barrier. So this is the ScaleXI package. Is simple to install. It's available through pip install ScaleXI, and the objective, as already mentioned, is to simplify the large language model fine-tuning. And we will also add other functionalities like for retrieval augmented generation, like connecting to PDF files or connected to data sources like SQL databases and so on. And so the process for the current version is, first of all, we're going to create a data set and then convert the data set to the format required by the large language model. We estimate the cost. For example, if I'm going to fine-tune my data set on GPT-4, how much it's going to cost. If I'm going to fine-tune it on GPT-3, how much it's going to cost. We can have an estimation in advance. If I am fine with the budget, so I can go and just dump my model, my data set into the model like GPT-3 or GPT-4. It will be fine-tuned, okay, in OpenAI clouds. And at the end, when I get the model, we have also other functions to evaluate your model and generate you the overall accuracy. For example, it will tell you over 1,000 question and answers, your model is 80% accurate or 90% accurate. And based on this, you can decide whether to go in production or you do additional refinement before deploying your language model for being used. So let's go step by step. I'm going first to explain the step on the PowerPoint presentation. Later on, we will go to the Colab and do the live demo. Is there any question so far? So feel free to interrupt me if you have any question or if you require more clarification. Yeah, we have, there is documentation. I'm going to share with you everything later on. So the code is open source. It's available on GitHub. And you have also, we have the docs.scalexi. You have here getting started, and you have the documentation of every single function. It's well documented. You know all the different parameters, the explanation of the parameters, and example of usages. So we have a complete documentation for every single function in the package. You're welcome. So the first step now, when you want to fine-tune a large language model, is first of all to create a data set. And this is one of the most difficult tasks, because as I already mentioned, creating 10,000 records in a data set is not easy. So all you need to do here is to import a prompt completion generator. So it's going to generate prompt and completions. We create an object named generator. I'm going to provide a context file. So the context file, basically, it's your data. Just bring your data from different sources, from a website, from a policy, from documents, from a PDF. It's up to you to put them, but you need to put them into CSV. Every cell will contain a particular context, and you specify what is the output of your data set. For example, I'm going to save it into generated dataset.csv, and just call the function generator.createDataset, and that's pretty much it. And here you can, okay, we provide the context file, we provide the output file, how many questions you want to generate. For each type of questions, you can generate yes or no questions, open-ended questions, reflected questions. We have almost 20 types of questions that you can automatically generate from each context. And you can choose your model. So you can choose GPT 3.5 or choose GPT 4. So the GPT is going to take the context, the type of question, and will automatically generate the questions based on your requirement. And here, this is the temperature parameter, and whether you want the response to be with detailed explanation or as a short response. So you can just put it false if you want to have short responses. So these are the type of questions that you can choose from. It can be open-ended, yes or no questions, closed-ended questions, ranking questions, hypothetical questions, critical thinking, reflective, behavioral, situational. So all of these are standard type of questions. They are supported by the dataset generation. So when you run this in the Colab, this is the printing, but what is more important, so this is the context data. It's raw data, you know. I'm going to have here a file that is called context.csv. The first row, it just contains context. This is the key of the column. And then I provided here a context that was from the ScaleX company. And I provided here another context from a blog, another context from another document. So what will happen? So the generator is going to take this context first and will generate questions based on the requirement. It will generate yes or no questions, open-ended questions, reflected questions from the first context. Then it will go to the second one, do the same thing. The third one will do the same thing. And finally, it will generate a data set. So this is a data set that could be used by OpenAI, of course, for the base language models. So OpenAI, initially, they adopted the model of prompt and completion in this way, in a CSV file. And here you can also see the type of question. So here I generated yes or no, open-ended, and reflective. So this can be done just in a few seconds. And now you are ready to estimate your cost. So to estimate the cost, we have another class that is called OpenAI pricing. And we put the pricing from OpenAI website into a file that comes with the package. And now I'm going to take this file and load it and give it as an argument to OpenAI pricing, so it will know all the pricing for the OpenAI for fine-tuning, for inference, and different other models. I'm going to show you later on this file. So first of all, we create a pricing object, and then, okay, so the pricing, you have a price per token, and if you know the number of tokens in your data set, you can just call estimate the fine-tuning training cost, and in this case, it will just calculate it and print it at the end. So you can estimate the cost of the fine-tuning, and you can estimate the cost of inference. For the inference, you need to specify both the input token, it's your prompt, the output token is what's going to be generated by the LLM. And here is an example on the Colab that we will see later on. So this is the file. It's a JSON that contains information about the fine-tuning cost per 1,000 token. This is how OpenAI specifies the pricing. So for example here, if you want to fine-tune GPT-4, or this is for the inference. If you want to use inference with GPT-4, it will cost for input 0.01 and for the output 0.03. If you want to fine-tune with the model, you can find the information from here. But these methods are going to access this file, bring the information based on the model name, and provide you the cost either for fine-tuning or for the inference. So for example here, with 100,000 tokens, it will cost the fine-tuning $0.08. And for doing inference, for example, on 10,000 input tokens and 5,000 output tokens, it will cost $0.06. So you can know in advance your estimated cost before going further. Okay, so now we know how to do the cost. But as already mentioned, when you want to fine-tune a model, every language or every LLM has its fine-tuning dataset format. So the prompt completion that was for... Okay, so this prompt completion format, that was the legacy fine-tuning data structure for models like Babbage or DaVinci, which are going to be deprecated very soon, by the way. And the GPT 3.5 Turbo, which is a conversational model, it is fine-tuned on a different type of structure, which take a system role and a user role. So now the problem is that we have a CSV file of type of prompt of completion, and we want to convert it into into a conversational data set. So this is very easy to do with ScaleXI. We can use the data formatter class. Okay, so here we need to create a data formatter object, DFM, and we can use CSV to JSON-L first of all to convert the CSV file into the JSON-L, because JSON-L, this is the expected format to fine-tune a data set. So this will convert it into a prompt completion JSON-L. And then we can use convert prompt completion to conversation, and we provide the prompt completion dataset path, and finally it will generate a data set according to the format required by OpenAI. And you can use this new data set to calculate the cost for the conversational model, because the conversational data set, it will contain more tokens because it contains additional metadata. And this is an application here on Colab. So we created all these different stuff, and we can see here in the bottom. So for example, the number of tokens in the conversation dataset is 5,358, and the cost, okay, it's not clear here, it's going to be around maybe $2. And this is what happens. So we generated the prompt completion as a CSV file, and using DFM, which is the data formatter, we're going to first convert it into a JSON-L data structure as a prompt and completion. And using the second conversion, I can convert it from prompt and completion to a conversational data set, having a system role and having a user role as required to train a large language model with GPT 3.5. Is it clear so far? Are there any questions? So the data set should be labeled? No, you don't need to label the data. So the data set will be automatically labeled as a prompt and completion. That was one of the questions. We're going to start from a context. Look, a context is just a raw text, just copy pasted from anywhere. Okay, copy pasted from anywhere, and then the tool is going to convert it into prompt and completion, and from prompt and completion we can convert it into JSON-L conversational model, very quickly. You will see this in the demo later. Yes, there is a question. There is someone who is raising the hand. Yeah, you can talk, yes. Yeah, for now it can use the available model in OpenAI. It's going to be extended to also fine-tune other models like Llama, Mistral, or the ongoing large language models that are available. Yes. Any other question? Yes. Which for what? For what?
For the data set, the completion one, you give the context and then complete the steps.
No, it's the tool that will do this automatically. Okay.
Yeah, the question is the tool. Do we have to provide an API token, or is that within the tool itself?
No, it will. So usually, what it will do, it will take the context, send the requirement to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will actually formulate the questions. So you need to have an OpenAI key. Yes, you need to have an OpenAI key. Yes, yes, yes. I will show this in the demonstration. I'm just giving you the whole landscape, and then through demonstration, we will see all the different steps in action. Okay, so now we've built our data set. It's ready to go. It's compatible with ChatGPT 3 for fine-tuning that model. And now we're ready. Okay, so just using this simple code, which will create a fine-tuning API from OpenAI here. So I'm going to input the OpenAI key and just calling this one fine-tuning API and can call the dashboard. When you call the dashboard, you have this menu. Okay. For example, if you want to upload your file, just press 1. Provide the information about your data set, it will be uploaded to OpenAI Cloud. You want to get started, just press 2. You can create a new fine-tuning job. So you will specify the file ID that you can get from OpenAI portal. You submit it here, and it will start a new fine-tuning job. You can also, I put here all the available functionalities and that are provided by OpenAI, to, for example, find the list of fine-tuning files, the 10 fine-tuning jobs, retrieve the state of a fine-tuned jobs, cancel a particular job, and list up to 10 events from a fine-tuned job, and delete a fine-tuned model or use a fine-tuned model. So all of these are available here using this interface, just to simplify the way on how to work with OpenAI API. Because OpenAI API, it's is requesting meeting summary with the company. Okay. Okay. It has a steep learning curve. So with this tool, it will make it much affordable to just use it implicitly to fine-tune your model. Now, we've sent everything to OpenAI Cloud. We need to wait a couple of minutes or a couple of hours, depending on how big our data set. And after that, when your model is ready, so you have a question, is my model good enough? So we need to evaluate it. How to do the evaluation now? We have a module or a class that is called LLM evaluation. And you are going to create an LLM evaluation object, which is going to use, again, OpenAI to evaluate every response that will be generated by the model. So how we will do that? We have different steps. So the first step is to select random prompt. Now, imagine that you have built a data set of 10,000 questions and answers. So the most intuitive way is you say, okay, I'm going to take a sample. I'm not going to test on 10,000. Maybe I'm going to take 100 question and answers or 200 question and answers, and I will test them. I will send them to my model and check what my model is going to respond and whether the response will be accurate or not. Okay, so first of all, we are going to save random prompts from our conversational data set. And you can specify how many values you want. For example, here you can choose 10, you can choose 100. So it's going to pick random values, you know, the first one, the number 101, number 10,000, number 9,000, and so on. You will get a sample depending on how big you want your sample to be. For example, 100 or 200 at least should be fine for a large data set. And that will be the result. So we're going to select the system prompt, the prompt, and the completion. And of course, now if I want to evaluate on the same prompt, this is not very fair, because later on when you put it on production, every client is going to write the answer in a different manner. So this is why the second step is to rephrase these prompts. The random selected prompts will be rephrased. Okay, will be rephrased by ChatGPT. For example, instead of asking the question, does ROS2, I don't know, address the limitation, we will ask it differently. We will ask the same question differently. So when we send it to the large language model, it appears like it's a different question. So we do this rephrasing, and we will store another data set that is called rephrased data set, which is from the sample that we randomly generated. And also, we can also classify. Why we classify? For example, imagine that you do fine-tuning for different type of questions, and later on you want to know, for example, I did this for my university, and I wanted to see, so is the model good at responding academic questions, research questions, admin questions? So it's possible to classify your questions using this method, and you need to make classify equal to true. So in this case, for every rephrased data set, it will understand which class is going to be the closest. And in this case, you will generate a rephrased data set with an initial prompt. So this is the prompt without rephrasing. This is the rephrased prompt. Okay, look, how does ROS2 address the limitation? It becomes, in what ways does ROS2 tackle the limitations? So it's the same question, but it's rephrased in different manner. And this is the ground truth completion. This is the expected answer. Okay, and this expected answer will be compared to the generated answer from the rephrased prompt. This is how we'll do the evaluation. And you have the classification here for statistical purposes later on if you want to check in which category your system behaves better. So for example, if it doesn't behave well in administration, you can add more administration questions and answers instead of focusing on adding more questions for the categories where it performs very well. And this is how we'll do it. It's very simple. You know, just choose your fine-tuned model. This is the model that you can find its ID on OpenAI portal. You just put the name here. You specify the output evaluation result. It's a CSV file. And you call just a function, evaluate model. You put all your stuff here. Fine-tuned model, your CSV rephrased data set. This is the rephrased data set that we have created. The evaluation file, the CSV evaluation file. These are parameters for OpenAI. You can choose any model here, GPT 3.5 or GPT-4. Of course, GPT-4 is the best, but it's expensive. I mean, you have to pay more. But if you are working on something at production level, I do strongly recommend to use GPT-4 to evaluate the responses. GPT 3.5 is good, but sometimes it's not good enough to have a fair evaluation. And you can specify either experiment ID. If you want to do several experiments on the same data set, you can do multiple times and change the ID over here. And you can also save immediately as long as it evaluates every model. And this is going to result on a CSV file which provides you the prompt, the ground truth response, and the generated response. These are the different parameters of OpenAI, and here it will give you the score. So it will compare the generated response with respect to the expected response, will tell you the value, and then it gives you it will give you the scoring reason. So why it has given 4.8, why it has given 3.75. And later on you can, if you have time and sufficient time, you can read all the reasons, you can adjust your weights. But in most of the cases, it does pretty much good job, especially if you work with GPT-4. It's almost very, very accurate. And the scoring reasons are also very decent as well. Okay, and that's pretty much it. You know, with following all these steps, you can have your model fine-tuned and also evaluated. And now we can go to the application. Yes, let me see if there are some questions. Yes, please. Muhammad Habash.
It's like a question about the evaluation process. In the script, you say that the large language model can give you different answers for the same problem, same set, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so how can we evaluate the model if we are given a ground truth? How it compares the ground truth with the results that we have?
Yeah, this is the strength of ChatGPT and language models. Now, for example, if you have students and you ask the student the same question, will they respond the same answer?
No, exactly.
Yes, no. But if both respond correctly, you will say, okay, I will give you a full grade for you both. If they respond partially, you will evaluate how well they have responded with respect to the requirement. And this is what ChatGPT will be doing. That's the impressive part. That's the impressive part. You know, the problem is that nobody knows why this language model can reach this ability. We are just exploring the abilities that they are able to do, and we are trying to leverage them to accomplish some tasks. But because now the main rule is that when the model scales in data and in number of parameters, so it will have impressive type of skills, in particular reasoning and critical thinking. Yes, yes. Amin Khalil.
Thank you. I have a question. To create a question answer chatbot, can I customize the text size or the embedding for the PDF file? Because when I try to create a chatbot in OpenAI today, I got a problem of that.
Yeah, LangChain, this, you are talking about retrieval augmented generation, which is now the trend in LLMs. No, currently we don't have, but this is going to be the next update, is to integrate an easy, because I know, you know, programming with LangChain is a standard now, but still it has a lot of challenges, you know. It's not easy to cope with, especially in retrieval augmented generation. So yes, one of our objectives is to provide a low-code interface. For example, if you want to chat with the PDF in 2-3 lines of codes, you can just upload your PDF and get everything up and running. Yes, because we just released this a couple of weeks ago, and now we are working into the development of a low-code interface for retrieval augmented generation. Yes. Any other questions? So I see here Said Zahrani, what eval metric, or can you speak to us about the questions, please? Said Zahrani and Aqil Kamel. Okay, yes.
I can customize the prompt also or no?
What do you mean customize the prompt?
For example, with in chatbot question answer, can I customize the prompt of my chatbot? So each chatbot I can modify the prompt. Like I tell him, you are assistant of X enterprise, and I wanted to answer.
Yeah, yes, you can rephrase. I mean, when the user provide the prompt, you can do rephrasing before sending to ChatGPT. So especially if there are, like for example, mistakes or language error or anything, you can because when you provide, for example, mistakes in the input, it's likely probably the output is not going to be accurate. So you can make proofreading in the beginning, so rephrasing in some of the ways, and then send it to the language model for the inference. That's possible, yes. That is also a practice that we do to improve the accuracy of the responses from the LLM. Okay. Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
I have a question about fine-tune LLM. I am so sorry, I am not from the beginning. If you repeat the question, or you mentioned this point in the beginning.
Yes.
But I am interested to fine-tune the open source model. I see just OpenAI, fine-tune OpenAI.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes.
So this process or this code, I can take it as it is to convert the data and fine-tune open source.
Yes, for now, we have a conversion for Llama models. Okay, although we don't have fine-tuning for Llama models for now, but if you go here to dataset generation, okay, and prompt completion generator here, we do have, just a moment, it's in the utilities, in the data formatting. Okay, so this convert Llama instruction to prompt completion, and also vice versa. We have the other way around. So, for example, here, let me go maybe Llama 2. Okay, just a moment. 2. Okay, convert prompt completion to Llama 2 instruction. You can use ScaleXI to do the following, but still we didn't have the fine-tuning interface, so you can fine-tune it in your own way, and later on you can do the evaluation. The evaluation is possible. So you can use everything in ScaleXI except this part, OpenAI Toolkit. All other things can be reused. Yes.
Another question. I can deploy it anywhere or
Just pip install. Yes, we've mentioned this is very simple. You have here the open.
I am asking Google team about BAM. If you fine-tune BAM on my own dataset, and the answer you can adapt the higher layer of BAM with your dataset, but the 6 point itself
Yes.
you can't get it. So you can't deploy it in other Google Cloud or cloud provider from the Google Cloud. Here in this case, I can deploy it anywhere.
No, here it's you can install it. The package you talk about, ScaleXI, you can install it on your computer and do internal processing for the dataset creation or dataset evaluation later on. So it's a local machine. You can do it on local machine or Google Colab, as I'm going to show you right now. It doesn't do anything about the deployment. The deployment depends on the LLM itself and the cloud where it should be deployed. Okay? Yeah. So, okay, let me show you the demonstration, and then I will open the room for discussion with the audience. Okay, I want to show you the demonstration of what I have explained now on the slides. So you have already this shared Google folder, which contains all the files, so you can download it and have everything that I'm going to do now up and running. Okay, so let me just show you. This is, first of all, we have a notebook to create a fine-tuned data set. So we start by installing the ScaleXI Python package, and then we need to connect to Google Drive, because we're going to access, here we have the structure of the file. First of all, I have a context file. Our data set will be stored here. Okay, so I'm going to change this name to have a different data set. So this one is going to be called 01. And we have one for the data set. We will have also for the JSON. Let me change the name so the new one will be generated. And this one also I'm going to rename it. So we generate a new one when we do our testing. And we have here the evaluation also. So let me put this as DMP. So we generate new files. Okay. So I'm going to start with the first notebook here, and I'm accessing now. I'm going to take my OpenAI key. This is a temporary key I'm going to use right now. So I put my OpenAI key to allow the prompt generation to generate prompts. So I create an instance of prompt generator, and then I will access to my context file. Look at the context file now. This context, ScaleXI files. Okay, this is a context file. Now you can put anything related to your case. Okay, imagine that you want to do, I don't know, give me anything, general information or anything else. For example, you can go to Wikipedia. You want to do something around engineering from Wikipedia, for example. Okay, bring your text. Okay, any text of interest that you have. I will take the text of interest like this. It should not be very, very long, because when you're going to send to ChatGPT, it's not good to have a very long text. It might exceed the context length of a ChatGPT. Okay, so you can take something reasonably long and add it here. Okay, I will add this one here, and I can take the next part. I can add it here. So any text of your interest that you want to create questions and answer from, just put it and paste it into your context file. Very simple. And now the tool is going to go into these elements and will generate questions from them. So just not to spend a lot of time generating text, I'm going just to remove that, but this is the process. This is what I've done for here. And I close it. Now I give the path to the context file. I give the path to prompt and completion dataset. Execute this one. And then, very simple, create dataset. Provide all the information. I'm going to use GPT-3. I'm going to create yes or no questions, open-ended questions, and reflective questions. And I click. Just a moment. I don't want to use one. I will create more. I will create 3 questions per category. And now, after some time, when it runs, we go to our dataset, CSV. Look, it started to create. Now 8:51, it's the current time. And now look, it's creating. Okay, this is the first question. This is the second one, third one. Okay, for the first context, it created 3 yes or no questions. And then for the same context, it created 3 other open-ended questions, and then 3 reflective questions. And then it go to the next context at index 1 and do the same thing. Okay, look now, it's populating our data set. Okay, so there are some exceptions. Sometimes when there is a network error or cannot communicate with the API, this will be handled by the API. Okay, so this happens when there is an internet connection or connectivity problem. But don't worry about this. You can stop, you can redo. Okay, let it complete first. And I can generate from the beginning. I can generate questions, and it will always add questions to this prompt and completion file. Okay, look now, it generated 20 questions just in a few seconds. Okay, so that happens when there is a network issue, but anyway, let me wait it to finish, and I will do again. I can do again the question and answers. So it will not crash because there are so many exceptions handling. So it will tell you that there was issues. It's tried to do that. Sometimes it could be a problem with the OpenAI key. You need to change it. Okay, but in general, it will provide you correct generation, as you can see. I can even stop it, but it's almost finishing now. Open-ended questions, yes or no questions. Okay, so after some time, we can collect this data and do additional, we can generate additional questions if I want. Okay, let me just let this finish. and I will generate different type of questions. Okay, is there any question for now for this process while we wait for it to complete? Yes? Yahya? Yes. No. For now, it supports all OpenAI models. Okay, so you can use GPT. I'm going to do the next one. For example, here it failed because of the network connection. I'm going to do it, for example, for GPT-4. Okay, and yes, and now, for example, I want to do closed ended. Of course, the names must be the same as presented in this table. Okay. Now I provided you with this table. I can share with you. So this is closed-ended. Okay. Ranking hypothetical. It must be one of these. It cannot be any. Yes. Yeah. No. For now, it's still OpenAI models, but it will be extended for additional models. Yes. So let me now. I need to provide again the OpenAI key. Okay. I'm going to do it again with GPT-4. Okay. Just to show you can do the same. It's not going to erase. Look, now we have 20 questions generated. And I'm going to do it again. It's going to beat over the previous questions. So you don't need to do the same thing again. With GPT-4, of course, it takes more time to generate every question. Okay, GPT-3 is much more faster than GPT-4, but of course GPT-4 is much better in different type of skills. Okay. Oh, you're welcome. So it's now generating. I'm generating one question for closed-ended and open-ended for this context. Okay, and now if I go to the data set, it's adding more questions. So you can generate 10,000, 20,000, 40,000, especially if you work on a team. Everyone is going to take a context, different OpenAI key, work in parallel. You know, for example, in my case, I generated plus 20,000 prompt and completion maybe in 2 or 3 days, you know, but not continuously, just stopping. And I was at the time developing the tool. So you can keep it a whole night. It will generate, for example, 1,000 questions, or depending on the number of tokens that you will be generating. Okay, but that makes it very affordable because we've used it to train. This is the model that we have trained. It was for my university, Prince Sultan University. We made a fine-tuned model that is called PSU GPT. Okay, and this allows to respond to any kind of questions related to Prince Sultan University. And this was trained on 33,000 questions and answers. Okay, you can imagine. But still, you know, we don't consider that this is a very large number because we want to achieve even 100,000. But that was the first model that we tried it. Okay, and you can see now if I ask any question about the university, it will be able to respond. Okay, for example, if I say hi, okay, I'm your PSU assistant, so it knows that it belongs to Prince Sultan University. Okay, for example, who is the, ask about myself, Afrik, for example. And okay, so it knows about me. And for example, I want to enroll or I want to attend a conference. How can I apply? So this is a research question. We have academic questions. You have administrative questions. Okay, now it will tell you about all the process. So this is ChatGPT 3. It was trained on all the data that we collected from Prince Sultan University. We did the same thing. We collected the data from the website. We collected the data from the policies, from different documents, and we put them into ChatGPT. Of course, we're using this context file, and it generated us plenty of questions and answers, 33,000, you can imagine. Okay, so you can ask about anything. Okay, I want to enroll. Okay, what are the admission criteria? What are the admission criteria at Prince Sultan University? Imagine that someone would like to enter the university. Okay. Yeah, the recording will be available. I'm going to share it with you. Okay. So it will tell you about that. So that follows basically the same process. I don't know what's thing going on here. Okay, now we generate all the questions, and we have our data set up and running. Okay, now it generated 32 questions. Now I can go to the second notebook, which is about cost estimation. And here, manage the sessions. So I'm done with this session. I don't need it anymore. Okay, close, cancel. So let me start with the fine tuning. Or sorry, with the pricing. So here we have the OpenAI pricing.json. You can find it, by the way. It's available on the GitHub. If you go to ScaleXI module data, OpenAI pricing. And this was updated. You can find the release date. It was updated 15th of November, almost 1 month from now. Okay, and of course, when it changed, I need to change this one. And it contains, for example, the inference cost. It contains the fine-tune cost. It contains, for example, base models, image models, audio models. So we collected everything from OpenAI, put them here, and now we are able to get them into the OpenAI pricing object. And finally, we can get the pricing. Okay, let me just, it will be just the pricing object. Pricing. Okay, and now so you can find, for example, I have 10,000 tokens, how much it would cost on GPT 3.5. You can just, it will give you. Now, if I want on GPT 4, okay, it will give me the information. So GPT 4, maybe it's not the same model name, because yes, fine-tuning is not available on GPT 4. It will tell you these are the available fine-tuning model. For example, I want on this one. Because GPT 4 is still not open for fine-tuning, but it's open for inference. Now, if you want to do inference with 10,000 input tokens and 5,000 output tokens, it will give you, for example, 3.5, it's $0.02. And if you do it on GPT 4, look, it's 0.6, almost 30 times more expensive. Okay, 30 times more expensive. So you can see the difference. But now, of course, now I don't want to put this number manually. I want to get them from my data set. And this is the next step. So the next step here is to go into formatting. I have a data set that is a prompted completion, but the OpenAI requires me to have a different way, which is based on, so this is the way we need to do it, instruction model, okay, as conversational. Now, this is the role of the third one. I'm going to stop this one now. Terminate other sessions, okay. Looking to the Google Drive. Now, we call the data formatter. Okay, so I create DFM, it's a data formatter object. And now I'm going to connect to my CSV data set, which is this one, which contains 32 entries. And I'm going to convert it into a JSON-L data set. Okay, I'm going to convert it into a JSON-L data set. Pretty much simple. Look now, I'm going to go to the JSON-L folder. There should be nothing. Okay, let me put this into old, or I'm finished about them. Okay, and now I'm going to do just convert to JSON-L. Okay, the CSV path is not defined. Which one is not defined? Okay, what's the name here? Generate prompt completion data set. It should be there. No, it's this one. It's generated. Okay. CSV dataset path is not there. Okay, yeah. I didn't make the base folder. That's why. It should work. I missed this cell. That's why. Now, if I go to JSON-L, just wait a little bit because it takes time. And now it's there. Let me download it. Look, I will download that one. It's here. Get it? And now I have my 32 questions or 31 questions. You see? It converted the prompt completion from CSV into JSON. But this is not what I want. I want to convert to conversational model. Okay, look now. This one is still prompt and completion. And this is not what is required. Okay, this is prompt, and you can find completion here. Prompt and completion. I need to convert it to conversational model. You know, it's just a line of code. Convert the prompt completion into conversation data set. That's pretty much it. Prompt completion is not defined. Why? Yeah, I always miss the previous cell. Okay. Now it's done. Let me go to JSON-L. Wait a little bit. And I'm going to have the new data set in the required format up and running. Download over here, open on Sublime. And look, now we have messages, we have role, system, content. Look, you know, this is 32 messages, but when you do it for 10,000 or 100,000, you know, it saves you like days and nights. Okay, so now we're done with our data set. I want to know, now I'm going to fine-tune this model into OpenAI. I want to know the cost. How much is going to cost me? Okay, so I will call the pricing module. I will call calculate token usage from dataset. You provide the dataset path in JSON or CSV or any format. It will return you the number of tokens. Okay, assuming 3.5. I think here we can add model. Okay, you know, if you want to know what are the different other options, you can go to the documentation and it's pricing, okay, OpenAI pricing here. And you can specify the model. Look, by default, it will take this model. I can change this model now. If you want to choose, for example, another model, not this one, 11.06, if it's available. Yeah, it's available. Okay, this is the number of token. And the cost here now, GPT 3.5, okay, and it's available. Yeah, we don't need this one because it's only about the number. So it will take the 5,000 multiplied by the cost per 1,000 token, and this will be the resulting cost for fine-tuning the dataset. Now we are up and running. We can use the fine-tune interface. Of course, now the fine-tune interface provides an affordable way. This is before, because now OpenAI, they have provided in their platform an easy way also to just upload files and start a fine-tuning mission. You can just come here and make upload, and you can do this through the graphical user interface. If you want to do it programmatically, also ScaleXI provide a fine-tuning interface, and I'm going to show you how we can use it. And where is the OpenAI key? Okay, let's take it. we create a fine-tuning object which is called API, and then we run the dashboard. Look now. This is the dashboard. If I go to the platform, the latest file, okay, it's called this one. I will delete it. Let me check. I will delete this file. Okay. And now I'm going to upload it again from this interface. I'm going to press 1, give the file path. Okay, this is the file path in Colab. So you need to provide the correct file path. For which purpose? It's fine-tune. And that's it. Okay, now if I go to OpenAI platform, make refresh, this is my file. Look, it's uploaded 12 December at 9:09, the same time as now. And it's ready. It's ready to start fine-tuning. Okay, I upload it from here. I can even find it from here. Look, the list of fine-tuned files, 3. Okay, it will give me all the files. Okay, look at this one. This is the latest one, BWQ. It's the same on my portal, BWQ. Okay, so it's identified my file and all other files that are available here. Okay, you can also start the fine-tuning job from here. I'm going to do 2 to start the fine-tuning job, and this will appear in the fine-tuning interface. Now I started the fine-tuning one. It failed because, look at the reason. I entered only 9 questions, prompt and completion. It requires at least 10. You cannot fine-tune a model less than 10 examples. So now we have 32 examples. It should be fine. Enter the fine-tuning ID, so you can get it easily. You go to File, click on this. This is your file ID. Just click here to be copied. Bring it here. Press. What is enter the model name. You can choose which model to fine-tune. Okay, you can go here and check the available fine-tuned models. Now, for example, these are the models available for training. I'm going to use GPT 3.5 Turbo 1106, GPT 3.5 1106, and everything else I will put it just the default values, and that's pretty much it. Now, you go to the fine-tuning interface. I'm going to refresh, and my job is here. Of course, it will take some time validating the file, starting the training. You can also check the loss as you go, the accuracy, okay, through here. And you can get all the information about them. Okay, so it will take some time. I'm not going to spend a long time here. We can come back at this. So I'm going to finish with the evaluation. Now, when our model is trained, I can get this model just, okay, now it's fine-tuning. It started the fine-tuning, okay. Look, the fine-tuning job has started. Sometimes it takes a couple of hours, especially if you have very long fine-tuning job. It will spend a long time to do that. Okay, so if you want to keep, you can put 10. Now we can do the evaluation while it is training. So the evaluation, as already mentioned, we start by selecting random prompts. Okay, I select random prompts. So I will initialize an LLM evaluation object, access my folder, and access the dataset. So no, I'm going to access the original dataset with 32 questions, and I'm going to select, for example, 5 questions only, randomly. Okay, it will be saved into random prompts. Okay, let me go here. I go now in evaluation folder, and I have random prompt generated now. Look at the number, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are automatically selected from my original dataset. Now the next step is to rephrase, and you know why now. Okay, so why we need to rephrase? Not to ask the same question, exactly the same question, but we want other variations of the question. Very simple, rephrase and classify. Okay, clicking on this, ScaleXI error, a file is not found. Okay, because the name has changed. Let me take the exact name and put it here, and it will be up and running. Make sure to have the correct name. Still, failed to parse. What's going on? Rephrase dataset. Yeah, it makes the rephrasing. Just failed in one question, but it's not a big deal. But now we have a rephrase dataset. Okay. We can download it. Okay. So the initial prompt, look. Takes initial prompt, can the retrieval augmented generation system enhance the interaction? Is it possible for the retrieval augmented system to improve the interaction? So it asks the question in different manner, and here it gives the classification of each question. Okay, now after rephrasing, we're going to start the evaluation. Okay, so I choose the fine-tuned model. Now I can go here. It's still fine-tuning, but imagine that I will take this model here. What is the fine-tuning model? This is the name. Okay, I will take it from here. I can come. This is the model I want to evaluate. And then I will start the evaluation. Okay, and here it will use GPT 3.5 to evaluate. It's better to use GPT 4. I can do it later on. We wait some time for the evaluation to complete, and here we will have a file that will contain the result of the evaluation. And that's pretty much it. Now, okay, I will send you the recording, inshallah. Okay, now if I go to the evaluation part, we will have the file coming, which contain the evaluation results. Okay, so for this question, that is the answer, and this is the response. Okay, this is the generated response, this is the generated answer, the grounded truth answer, and this is the score. Let me download it and check this in more detail for at least one question. Okay, so what happened here? So this is the prompt that was rephrased. Okay, is it possible for the retrieval? And this is the grounded truth. Yes, a retrieval augmented generation can enhance the interaction between machines and humans in conversational AI. Now, when you look here, you will find also the generated response is yes, a retrieval augmented generation has the potential of significantly enhance the interaction and blah, blah, blah. Then let's look at the other parameters. It gives the score of 4.8. It says that these are close to each other. You can go to the reason here. The generated response accurately captures the benefit of RAG and capabilities. So that is the reason. And here I made the reason to be just a short statement. You know, only, for example, 20 words or something. Not to consume too much tokens. And you can do the same thing for all the others. Okay, so with this we come to the end of all the notebooks and all the presentation, and I will be happy to discuss with you if you have any questions. I'll be glad to address them. Okay, yes.
Thank you, Prof. Anis. I will start by the last part related to evaluation of this.
Okay.
To what extent can be considered the step of question rephrasing as a situation? Because the system was fine-tuned for some questions. And after we took some samples and we made changes to the question. Is it considered as a rephrasing?
Well, let me give you a short answer. You know, as soon as your data goes to the internet, is no longer yours. Okay, because now when you send anything to the cloud of OpenAI, of course they will have full control of your data. So secure, and this is why many of the organizations and the companies that cares a lot of the privacy of their data, they won't allow to work on OpenAI models. They want to have everything on premises. But of course, if you want to do a large language model on premises, you will have full privacy and full control, but it's really very, very expensive and very challenging to manage and maintain. But you know, now there are some workaround from OpenAI that they are opening enterprise accounts for advanced privacy, advanced availability, but I'm not sure, you know. For me, if the data has been traveled through the internet, you know, it can be intercepted by anyone. So it can be leaked. And you all remember when Samsung have used a lot of their code on ChatGPT, there was a big issue at that time because they have exposed many of the company secrets when they have been using OpenAI to develop. واضح؟ Okay? Okay. Okay, Said? Said Zaran, yes. You can talk? We are not able to hear you, Said.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Great job, Professor. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
My question earlier in the chat was regarding the evaluation score. What kind of evaluation score that is it sort of like based on full score or low score?
No. No. This is like this is not rouge or blue. This, you know, it has nothing to do with that. It's just an evaluation by the ChatGPT itself. You know, the code is open source. We can even show the way how it is implemented. If you are interested, you can go to the evaluate.py here, and the way that we do the evaluation. Okay, let me just see where we do the evaluation exactly. Save random prompts. And rephrase and classify, you know, this low code interface, you know, there is all this big code behind. I wanted just to make things much simpler to use, you know, get generated completions. Okay, score response, you know, this is one, it's a score response. You will send the prompt, the grounded truth, generate response, and to, for example, GPT-3 or GPT-4. And I give some guidelines, you know. Now I have a system prompt here, which I mentioned. I'm not sure where I put the system prompt, but the system prompt tells the ChatGPT, you will have a ground truth response and you have a generated response. Give a score between 0 and 5, depending to which extent the generated response match the grounded truth response. You see what I mean? Okay. Yes. So the system prompt is somewhere here. Could be maybe, yeah. There is system prompt somewhere, you know, that actually will do the following prompt to get it done. So, and finally, it will generate the scores like this depending on how identical the answers are. Sure, yes. Yeah. Yeah, look now, in what comes to Arabic, you know, ChatGPT has some decent capabilities to Arabic, but much lower than its English capabilities. But still, I think it's still the best language, you know, even better than the other languages that are built for Arabic, like for example, JACE. There is JACE from the UAE, This is now the most prominent. But you know, and there is one from Kaust as well. But you know, the problem, these models were built with only third of their words or tokens are in Arabic and 2/3 are in English language. And I can understand this because they want to build a large language model and they don't have sufficient data to fit the scale of the network. So they just populated with English. But this is not, for me, not an Arabic language model. It's like something smaller model than ChatGPT. Now, at Prince Sultan University, we are building pure Arabic models from scratch, pure large language model from scratch. And it's just a matter of days to release because we are building the website, we are building the documentation, but alhamdulillah, we have successfully started our first large language model in Arabic with pure Arabic tokens, nothing more. And this is like the smallest scale at only 1 million. We are building at 500 millions, and we will go up to 3 billion parameters for large language model in Arabic. So we will be sharing this with you, inshallah. And I hope that we will try to provide something that will help the Arabic community to take advantage of LLMs to develop their specific applications around the Arabic language. Because now when we've done, for example, fine-tuning in Arabic, even with ChatGPT, it didn't work at all. We have a paper that is submitted, for example, أخذنا كل القضايا من موقع وزارة العدل وقمنا عملنا عليهم fine-tuning على different models, اللامة والChatGPT 3 and so on. We get very poor results. Very poor results. For example, من خلال الوقائع أنك تتحصل على الحكم القضائي. لكن لأن النماذج هذه ما هي معمولة للغة العربية بطريقة مباشرة. It was a big failure. We reported this in our paper. It's still now under review. But that was an experience to evaluate the capabilities of current LLMs in processing Arabic language. Yes.
About the context file, is it limited to the context file that is going to be the model, or the model is going to add some context to the prompt?
No, you know, it's you to bring the context, you know. Just, for example, when we did the context for Prince Sultan University, you know, we just put anything on the website here. You see what I mean? And then we generated all kinds of questions. And now the model is able to respond to any kind of questions. Okay, these are based on answers generated automatically. Of course, some of them are manual, but you couldn't manage more than 8,000. That's too much. But I generated in less amount of time, more than 20,000 in just a couple of days. Yes.
Yeah, that's very nice. Yeah, that's why I asked, because, you know, once you have context files that is like naturally aligned with the human, so kind of like not toxic, and you're making sure it's not harmful.
Yes.
You don't want that ChatGPT to add context to that and contaminate that. That's why I asked.
Yes. Okay, you're welcome. Yes, other question, Ruqayya.
Thank you, Dr. Fadi, for the session. I'm interested with Arabic, which you built it in the university.
Yes, we built it in the university, yes.
Yeah, how can I get information about it? Can I contact with you about it?
You know, let me.
Open source.
Yeah, you can subscribe to my link because I post everything on my LinkedIn. This is now my official page. I will share with you my LinkedIn here in the chat. We have also the LinkedIn of ScaleXI, where we post also all the things related to this Python package, the extension, and so on. So you will find every updates about either ScaleXI package or language model that we do in Prince Sultan University, either through my LinkedIn account or from the ScaleX account. Okay. Yes, my latest work and papers, you can find them on my Scholar profile. Okay, things that are published, they are available in my Scholar profile. So we have some paper on ChatGPT here. For example, if you are interested, we evaluated ChatGPT for IEEE extreme competition in programming. Okay, programming. I don't know whether it is here or not. We have also a survey on ChatGPT. We have so many papers that we, yes, even, yeah, this one is about the legal Arabic legal ruling. هذا الأحكام القضائية اللي اشتغلنا عليها في الشات جي بي تي، موجود في كنسخة مفتوحة المصدر في الاركيف اكس. نفس البيبر الآن هو قيد التحكيم، لكن عملنا تحليل على النماذج العربية في الأحكام القضائية باستخدام نماذج لغوية مفتوحة المصدر، وموجودة هنا البرفورمانس أيضا. فالصفحة هذه تجد فيها كل الأعمال المتعلقة اللي نقوم بها إن شاء الله. Okay, other questions? في دكتورة حصة، إن شاء الله بإذن الله نرسل لكم نماذج مفتوحة المصدر. إن شاء الله كل شيء عندنا في المعمل أو حتى في سكيل اكس اي راح يكون مفتوح المصدر، ويكون متاح إن شاء الله للجميع لاستخدامه ولتطويره أيضا بإذن الله. في سؤال من أيمن عبيد، ممكن تسأل السؤال أيمن؟ Could you explain more the evaluation? هل في أسئلة أخرى؟ Okay, thank you very much. Many are asking about the recording. I will send the recording. People can build startup to sell specific pre-trained LLM. Of course, now this is like the biggest trend in the US market. And about the Arabic language, pre-trained Arabic languages, this is something that we are currently doing, as already mentioned. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Unless you have additional questions, I will be glad to respond. Otherwise, hope to see you in next webinars. Thank you.